Welcome back! My name is ballerscuba. This is Video Games Over Time. We are still in 1985. Today, we're going to talk about Super Mario Bros. The story of Super Mario Bros. Takes us back to Nintendo. We of course have talked about Nintendo quite in detail several times before. They have been responsible for, among others, Donkey Kong, Mario Bros., and Punch-Out! We last talked about Nintendo in our video on Excitebike. For Super Mario Bros., Nintendo turned once again to Shigeru Miyamoto. One of the main driving forces behind Nintendo, Miyamoto has been responsible for, among others, Donkey Kong, Mario Bros., and Duck Hunt. We last talked about Shigeru Miyamoto in our video on Excitebike. Miyamoto would be joined by Takashi Tezuka to design the game. Tezuka had helped Miyamoto with Devil World, which we mentioned in an honorable mentions video this year. These two men would also design the art for the game. To program the game, Toshihiko Nakago and Kazuaki Morita would join the team. Toshihiko Nakago had worked behind the scenes at Nintendo, helping to program Famicom ports of several games, including the Donkey Kong series. Technically, he worked for SRD Company Limited directly under contract by Nintendo. Kazuaki Morita had helped program Ice Climber, both the original arcade version and the Famicom version. Miyamoto wanted to create a platform game with a scrolling screen and larger characters. He would use the skills he had learned creating the programming for Devil World, Excitebike, and the port of Kung Fu as guides for the new game. He wanted to make a platform game, or athletic game as he called it at the time, that would force the player to strategize while the game scrolled over long distances. He also wanted to make levels that went into the air and underground. He also wanted to make sure the game had a colorful background instead of a black background. The scrolling game engine was brought forward from Excitebike, which allowed the character to accelerate from a walk to a run instead of moving at a constant speed. The game started simply, with a prototype that used a pixel square that would move around a single screen. It was Takashi Tezuka that suggested using Mario for the game after seeing the success of Mario Bros. However, some changes would need to be made. The main change would be that Mario would be able to stomp on turtles without getting hurt, as Tezuka saw the previous system as illogical. Mario's sprite was changed again for the game. From the original blue shirt with red hat and overalls seen in the Donkey Kong games, Mario Bros. Switched the character to have a red shirt with blue hat and overalls. Super Mario Bros. Would continue changing this formula, now giving Mario a brown shirt with a red hat and overalls. However, should Mario get the Fire Flower power-up, which allows Mario to throw fireballs, the sprite will change so Mario has a red shirt with a white hat and overalls. A second player for the game would be able to play as Mario's brother, Luigi. Luigi, who had not appeared in Donkey Kong, had a black shirt with a green hat and overalls in Mario Bros. This was changed in Super Mario Bros. To a green shirt with a white hat and overalls. When Luigi gets the Fire Flower power-up, the sprite will change to match Mario's Fire Flower sprite. The team then began working on levels for the game. The original concept was to design a level around a small Mario, then make Mario larger in the final version. This was changed to have Mario change his size with a Super Mushroom power-up. This Super Mushroom is what gives the game the name Super Mario Bros. This idea of using mushrooms to change the character's size comes from Japanese folklore, in stories where people go into forests and eat magic mushrooms. These mushrooms also give the setting of the game its name, the Mushroom Kingdom. The first level for the game, known as World 1-1, in particular needed a lot of design. The level is designed to be a tutorial for a new player, guiding them fully with the level's design. It forces the player to explore the mechanics of the game in order to advance. It uses a system of repetition, iteration, and escalation. That means it introduces the player to a concept, has them repeat it, then complicates it. This will hopefully ensure the player will understand and be able to use the concept moving forward. Space limitation for the game was a major concern, so several sprites had to be reused, such as clouds and bushes having the same sprite, but with different colors. For the music and sound of the game, Nintendo turned once again to Koji Kondo. Koji Kondo had helped design the music for Punch-Out! Kondo also had to save space, so would recycle sound effects to have multiple uses, such as the swimming sound being the same as the sound when Mario jumps on an enemy. Koji Kondo would design 6 different tracks for the game. Instead of trying to attract attention with the music, which was typically the way video game music was designed to this point, Kondo decided to conform the music to what was happening in the game. This was designed to have the player better remember the game's music and to enhance the overall experience for the player. Super Mario Bros. Is a side-scrolling platform game. The first player will play as Mario, with a second player who can play on their own turns, playing as Luigi. The player's overall goal is to make it through the levels of the Mushroom Kingdom to defeat Bowser, King of the Koopa, and rescue Princess Toadstool. To do this, the player can run and jump to defeat enemies and overcome obstacles. Should the enemies touch Mario or Luigi when they are not jumping, the player will be hit. The player can earn power-ups, including a Super Mushroom, which will double the character's size, a Fire Flower, which will give the character the ability to throw fireballs, and a Starman, which gives the character temporary invincibility. If the player is hit while in the bigger form, they will shrink back to the small form. If the player is hit while in their small form, falls into a pit, or runs out of time, the player will lose a life. There are green mushrooms in the game that give the player an extra life. At the end of most levels will be a flagpole to mark the finish line. How high Mario is on the flagpole will determine how many points the player will receive. The game also has secret areas, hidden blocks, and warp pipes to skip levels. There are 8 worlds, each with 4 levels or stages in the game. The final stage of each world will be a castle. At the end of those stages, the player must fight King Koopa, either by reaching an axe at the end of the bridge or by defeating King Koopa with a lot of fireballs. Should the player defeat the final King Koopa in World 8, the player can replay the game at a higher difficulty level. Nintendo released Super Mario Bros. To the Famicom on September 13th, 1985. That is a backstory to Super Mario Bros. With that told, it's time to look at the game's manual. There is a section of the manual named Object of the Game, Game Description. It reads, "One day, the kingdom of the peaceful mushroom people was invaded by the Koopa, a tribe of turtles famous for their black magic. The quiet, peace-loving mushroom people were turned into mere stones, bricks, and even field horsehair plants, and the mushroom kingdom fell into ruin. The only one who can undo the magic spell on the mushroom people and return them to their normal selves is the Princess Toadstool, the daughter of the Mushroom King. Unfortunately, she is presently in the hands of the great Koopa Turtle King. Mario, the hero of the story, maybe, hears about the Mushroom People's plight and sets out on a quest to free the Mushroom Princess from the evil Koopa and restore the fallen kingdom of the Mushroom People. You are Mario. It's up to you to save the Mushroom People from the black magic of the Koopa. There's also a section named Mario's Friends. It, in part, reads, if you come across mushrooms who have been turned into bricks or made invisible, they reward you by giving you a power boost. The implication here is that the mushrooms that were turned into blocks are the blocks that cannot be destroyed. There is also a section for the enemies in the game. Those read, Little Goomba, a mushroom who betrayed the Mushroom Kingdom. One stomp and he dies. Koopa Troopa, green, soldier of the Turtle Empire. His orders are to find and destroy Mario. Jump on him and he stops moving for a while. Koopa Troopa, red. This turtle is chicken. Very timid, he gets scared easily and runs back and forth a lot. Jump on him and he stops moving for a while. Koopa Paratroopa, green. A bit out of control, he wings around aimlessly and comes at you all of a sudden. Stomp on him and he loses his wings. Koopa Paratroopa, red. This turtle is under control but likes to take it easy. Stomp on him and he loses his wings. Buzzy Beetle, quite the toughie. Fireballs don't even faze him. The Hammer Brothers. These wily twin brother turtles come at you throwing hammers. Spiny, Lakitu's pet but a wild fighter. You can't kill him by jumping on top of him. Lakitu, the mysterious turtle who controls the clouds. He chases after Mario and drops Spiny's eggs on top of him. Piranha Plants, man-eating plants that live in the flower pots. They show their faces quickly and without warning, so watch out. You can't kill them by jumping on top of them. Spiny's eggs. Eggs of the Spiny, pet of Lakitu. You can't destroy them by jumping on them. Cheep Cheep. Usually found in the water, but also sprouts wings and flies, so you have to be careful in the air too. Can't be killed from above while she's in the water. Bullet Bill. Chases after Mario slowly but steadily. You can kill him by jumping onto him from above. Bloober. Chases stubbornly after Mario, a guy to look out for. You can't kill him by jumping on top of him. Podoboo. Protector of the great sorcerer Koopa King. He comes flying out of the lake of fire inside the Koopa King's castle. Mushroom Retainers. 7 mushrooms who originally served in the court of Princess Toadstool, but are now under the spell of the evil Koopa King. Princess Toadstool. Princess of the Mushroom Kingdom. She is the only one who can break the spell of the evil Koopa King. Jumping Board. If Mario jumps onto it, it goes up and down. Pushing the A button when the jumping board is all the way up makes Mario jump super high. Bowser, King of the Koopa. The Sorcerer King holding Princess Toadstool captive in the last castle. He comes at you spitting fire. There are several ways to kill him, but you only get points if you use fireballs. Those are some highlights of the game's manual. With those explored, it's time to play the game for ourselves. But that will have to wait until our next video. My name is ballerscuba. This has been Video Games Over Time. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in our next video when we play Super Mario Bros.